Okay, looking at Litecoin here. Again, it's been a handful of days, but since I looked at this, I did not expect this to move like this. I did have a short position here drawn, and it actually looks like it would have played out absolutely perfect. I was waiting for price to break 81.50, and then possibly entering in this area here after it broke if it retraced, but it didn't retrace. So I guess technically I kind of missed it. But I did have a feeling that price would. Break 81.50 and be good to go. So I did consider shorting it early before it broke, but I was waiting, and I missed the entry. But this would have been a perfect candle too to enter on, but it's not. Again, it hadn't broken 81.50 yet, so that's what I was really waiting for. But I didn't expect it to just get absolutely hammered 3 days in a row after it broke with no significant entry. And I had put this $63 marker down because this represents $32 a range, which is the normal monthly range for Litecoin here. So it just so happens that I was bang on with my target, and I thought this would take all month. If I was right, keyword being if, then it would take all month for it to go from here to here to 63 bucks. If it was going to do its full monthly range and move in the direction and move how I thought it would, then that's how long it would take, and that's where it would move to. But just so happens it did it in 3 days instead of 15. So pretty wild to see. But yeah, and then like this zone I also thought may give us some issues, and like that's why I kind of my first trade setup would have been just to this zone, just to 72 bucks kind of thing, just to see if it could even make it to this zone. And then if it did, like, it would probably start slowing down once it hit this zone probably. Clearly did not. It absolutely annihilated it and just flew right through it. So that's yeah, wild to see. All these crypto coins are now bearish, so we must keep that in mind. As far as the weekly goes, this weekly is super bearish obviously, so ton of bear momentum now into this market. However, I do see a possibility of, and keyword is possibility, a retracement setting up. Now, just because these crypto coins moved so much, and they technically would be on sale, but I would not be looking to buy this yet. But you can see that it is at this nice area of significance on the weekly. You can even tidy this up a little bit, something like this. You can see rejected, broke, came back down, rejected, and then rejected to the rejected the downside here, and then boom, shot up. So that is significant, and so I do like this $63 zone. It actually is pretty much just above 60 is kind of your, between 63 and 60 is your area of support. So I could see this starting to retrace back up after this, and a lot of it depends on the dollar index and then also the other cryptocurrencies, if they all decide to, because they all kind of move very, very similar. They're highly correlated. So if this starts to retrace, it's probably heading back up to here, back up to about 90 bucks. So that is a possibility. So I think it would break this area if it does start to retrace. So that's not my main area. Then I think it'll come back up and basically meet this moving average somewhere, maybe around anywhere between 85 and 90 bucks. The moving average might be kind of lower than that at that point, but even something, I could see it coming up to here. I just think it'll retrace a little bit further if it decides to retrace, but it's tough to say. We'll have to just wait and see. So similar to the other cryptos that we've looked at today, like, because price is so bearish on this weekly, but the cool thing is with cryptocurrencies is they are open 24/7, so technically this weekly candle doesn't even close for another 2 days and 8 hours, Sunday night. So we'll see how the next 2 days go, because that's going to determine how this candle closes. So if the next 2 days, today and then Saturday and Sunday, if price can't break $63 and hold below it, then I'd say that there's a good chance that we can start retracing. But if this candle closes as full as it is right now, I would say next week we're looking for another bearish candle, because there's just so much momentum going into this zone. And then if it has 3 days to pull back and it doesn't at all, then I'd say like it's ripe to keep going, and you're going to target the next zone here, which is crazy because it's it's out of range for the month, but it's like it's already done its range for the month. It's done can see, like it's already done its $32 a range. So I mean, by all means it can do more, but I just think that's pretty crazy, but definitely possible. So we'll keep that in mind. We're basically going to look for a long position upcoming, possible, to, you know, one of these previous areas here. We'll find a whole number. We'll find, you know, an area of possible resistance or support, I guess you would call it. But, you know, something could definitely be in this area here, which would be only a 38.2 retracement, but I mean, that is still very reasonable. That would just mean if it comes up to this 38.2 level and rejects heavily, that means this is very bearish, because that means a couple things. So for price to move like this and then only pull back up to the 382, that means it's super bearish and there's a ton of bear momentum. There's there is more bear momentum than anything else, because it won't even allow price to come up to like 50% or 618 and get like a full healthy retracement. It just means the bears want to sell this as soon as it comes up at all. So if it hits 80 bucks, 82 bucks, and then just wants to sell off, then that's super bearish. Plus, it'll still most likely be below this moving average at that point. So if price comes up from here, let's say it comes up to here, this moving average comes down, price is still going to be below the moving average and possibly get rejected by the moving average, which then would signal that we're still super bearish and you're looking for the next leg of price moving down to possibly at least back down to 63 bucks or further down to like 50 here. So that could definitely happen, especially if this dollar index keeps going up. If it keeps going up and doesn't retrace at all, then this is just going to break this $60 mark here and keep going. So, but I do think the dollar will retrace at least a little bit, and then which will push this back up a bit, and everything will kind of flow evenly and nicely, and we'll be able to get in on a good short position up here. But if not, then yeah, we just have to wait. If price breaks this area, then you kind of just have to let it do its thing, in my opinion, because if it breaks this area, I mean, you could say like, well, I'll short it down, but short it to where? Because like, you don't know, these are all very new lows, so you don't really know where price is going to go. You assume 50 bucks, and I mean 50 is most likely, but then also like your risk reward's not that great either, because you're only shorting at $10, so it's tough to get a good risk reward doing that as well. So personally, I would just wait for price to find its area of support. It looks like it's kind of doing it now, and the weekend will probably be slower, so I don't think it'll break 63 bucks this weekend, but it could. But if it doesn't and it starts making its way up, then we're going to look for a position up here, and yeah, look to short it from this about $82 level. I mean, I would consider a buy if everything else lined up. Price crosses over this 1 hour moving average, which will take probably a few days, and then we can maybe look for a buy position up to 83 bucks and then a sell position after that. So I mean, your timelines are very iffy because you just don't know how much this is going to move. You don't know if it's done moving for the month or what, but you know, I would shoot for something like this if price and everything aligns and allows for it, you know, something like this. But that is how this could play out, so we'll see. I mean, we can revert back to this video and you know, in a week or so, and just see if I'm anywhere close to my theory or if I'm completely off. That'll be interesting to see. But that is my take on Litecoin. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and we'll check back on this in a few days.